First topic, vendor reconciliation. What is vendor reconciliation? It is basically reconciling your vendor's statement of account against your book of accounts. For example, company XYZ has given you their statement as on 15th of October. So what you have to do? You have to pull out your system's open items as on that date. If invoices showing in their statement and your book of accounts are matching, then there is no issue. It only means that whichever open items in their book were accounted by you. But what if the invoices are not showing in your open items? Then what you have to do, you have to find out the reason behind it. There are several reasons why their invoices are not reflecting in your open items. You have to consider the following. First, invoice was accounted by you after you received the SOA from them. For example, you received the SOA on 15th of October. Then you accounted the invoice only on 16th. That is the reason why it is not reflecting in your open items. Second, the invoice is not received by you. They have raised the invoice, but you did not receive it at all. So what you have to do, you have to inform them and ask them for this invoice so you can account it in your books. Third, invoice was accounted by you and you printed the check before the SOA date. Now the check has gone for signature, so they have not received the payment yet. So that is the reason why it is not showing in your open items, because it is already cleared from your system. Those are some of the reasons which you have to consider while doing vendor reconciliation. Please note that it is mandatory to do the reconciliation every month, because if the invoice is not booked at the same month, then your expense will be understated, or else you have to provide for the same amount. Topic number 2. How to park non-PO invoices in SAP. You have to go to T-code FV60. If you enter it, it will open the window for this T-code. Now you have to fill out the required details in the vendor header, like vendor number, invoice date, amount, narration, and most importantly, tick the calculate tax and choose the tax code. Below vendor header, you will see the GL related entries. First, you have to fill out the GL account, means your expense account. Then if you double click, one window will show in which you can enter the amount, tax code, cost center, and text. Then you have to go back to the main window, or you can simply press F3. Click on Simulate, then click the Complete button. After that, Park document number will get generated. Write the document number on the invoice and give it to your colleague who has the authorization to post the entries. If you want to view all the Park documents, go to T-code FBV0. From there, click on Document List and you execute the details. Please note that invoice parking is SAP language, which means that you are recording the transaction, but it will have an impact in your GL only once you posted the document. How to park LPO invoices in SAP. We are using T-code MIR7 for this transaction. What you have to do is you have to fill out the required details like invoice number, invoice date, posting date, amount, text, and don't forget to tick the calculate tax and choose the tax code. In the PO level section, type the LPO number and enter. Once you enter the LPO, You will see the details of it. Then click on Hide Header Data. From there, you can view the details linked to the LPO, like amount, tax code, GL code, business area, and profit center. There is also a field for text in which you have to fill out. Once details are verified, click on Simulate, then Save Park Document. Park document number will get generated and you can write the number on the invoice and give it for posting. Same case as non-PO invoices, you can also view the park documents by using T-code FBV0. Now, if you want to view the LPO details, you can always refer to T-code ME23N. You might be having some questions in your mind, but before that, I will give you an idea about the process we follow before parking the LPO invoices. For example, in a real estate company, one of your properties is having some leakage, mostly water pump line leakage, which is to be rectified immediately. So your engineer will check the damage and he will coordinate with your supplier. He will also ask quotations from your 2 or 3 suppliers and choose the best one. Once the quotation is approved, your engineer will send to your procurement department to create the LPO. LPO stands for Local Purchase Order. Once LPO is created and approved, it will be given to the chosen supplier to proceed with the work. Once the work is done, the supplier will submit the invoice along with the service report, delivery report, whichever is applicable. Once you received the invoice from your supplier, you cannot park it yet without creating the service entry or goods receipt in SAP. It will be done by your engineer or whoever is authorized to do so. Once service entry or goods receipt is done, you can start parking the invoice. But what if the invoice you received is having a different amount from your LPO? Means the work was done partially, so invoice amount is less than the LPO amount. In this case, no need to worry, as the service entry or GRN to be created should be as per the invoice. So once you park the invoice, there will be no issue with the amount. Second scenario, what if the invoice amount is not tally with the service entry or GRN created? Then possibility is that the person who created the service entry or GRN had mistakenly chosen the wrong line item. For this case, you just have to give back the document to the person who created the service entry or GRN and have it rectified. Those were some of the reasons you have to consider while parking LPO invoices. I hope you find this video very useful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.